Even my dog.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live Q&A session with me and Mr. Chris Palmer, SEO. Sponsored by 38 Digital Market. The link is below, guys. The logo is above. Mr. Randy Roday's press releases and other services. So do check him out. Give him some support. Big Kazbula, bring them nugs, gentlemen. Mrs. Holly Starks is here as well. Believe it or not, Holly, Chris said he was looking good when he came on camera as well. To himself. Yeah. The new haircut has
you like that? Yeah.
done some wonderful stuff for yourself.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep. This is actually a little Chris special right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he left a few spots back here. There were some errors back here that I had to address, but yeah, he enjoys.
You just said, "Go loose, little Chris. Go fucking do your worst."
Yeah, I took because I used to put the fittings on there, but I just took the fitting off, pushed the thing up so it raises up a little bit, so it's not totally bald. Just go for it. Like, I'm gonna buzz it, because I have that conference coming up. So I figure, hey, let's buzz it really, really short. By the time the conference comes, it'll be at that perfect length. Went and got a new suit.
Nice.
Looking dapper for my event.
Have you even had the last suit on? You know, you obviously had the suit for Vegas. Surely you've not worn that many more times.
I wore it 2 more times. So I went and got it. I went and got a new one. I'm gonna make it a maybe I'll just keep going. You know, like, it's almost like it's a business expense for one. But as another piece to it, yeah, like I think that's fun. I mean, I enjoy it. Plus, I like walking around Neiman's. I don't get to go there often, so when it's for work, it feels good. You know, they treat you really nice in there, man. Like, oh, you guys want water? I bring little Chris. They're getting them like little drinks and stuff. Like, it's different. Hey, way different than Walmart, right, buddy? Like, yo, check this out. Hit him up for another one.
Get your money.
It's cool. Yeah, it's fun.
But
it's fun.
Guys, we are here to answer your questions, so please do put them in the chat. Also, let us know who is there, where you're from, and all of that good stuff. We like to know who is earwigging and watching. But Chris,
yes.
Holly's asking, are you going to Phoenix?
Phoenix, yep, exactly.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, big lineup, I noticed. That's a lot of people. Sheesh.
Is it something like 35 speakers or some shit like that?
Yeah, it looks wild. I didn't realize, like, I didn't know it was like that. You know, they're doing like baseball games and like hot dog cookouts and like, oh, geez, like, guys are playing.
Where I'm disappointed in Terry. He never done a baseball game last year. I think he'd done it the time before, which I wasn't at. Then I went there last year. There was no fucking baseball game. I've never been to a baseball game, but
it's a bonus.
They do put on a grand event. That's one thing I will say. And obviously a lot of the people that go there are all good folks as well. So I had a fun time. Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
But Holly is going. It's 3 days and a half day tech. Baseball game Wednesday, golf on Thursday. Are you any good at golf, Chris?
No, but I do enjoy playing golf. I'm not good now.
Hello, D-Raj from India. I met you near to the breakout stage, and I love to hear you. Thank you very much, D-Raj. Pleasure to meet you in Dubai, and hope you enjoyed your time and had a safe trip home and all of that stuff. The real Kazbula is here as well. Kazbula.
But I think that picture's from our stage.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Okay. See
And
ya.
no, I haven't told Chris about the awards that I won in Dubai. I'm not big-headed like that, casual. I like to keep it in a lowdown. But
Oh, you're winning awards. Well,
yeah,
since you brought it up, what kind of awards?
best speaker.
Really?
Yeah.
Did that come with a piece of paper in a rectangle form about this big
But a
with numbers on the bottom?
big fucking heavy one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was one of them big ones, like a lotto winner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Oh man, that's fun. I want one of those.
Best speaker in a thong. Holly, you know me. I'm not into all that. There's a blast from the past. Mr. Andy Drinkwater.
Yes.
Good to see you, mate. Not seen you in a long, long time. But hope you're keeping well.
Since it's been a while, he probably has a load of questions.
Yeah. So fire the questions in. Darren is here as well. But Eric is the first question. And he's saying, when rebranding your business and you have a domain change, should you 301 redirect the old domain to the new one, or is there something else you guys would do?
Well, I mean, is there something there? I would assume that there is traffic, links. You know, is there equity there? And was this like, why did the business stop? Right? Like, is it just a name thing? So, do I want to go from homepage to homepage, or do I want to send that to a primary service page instead? Do I want to go page by page? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. Like, what was the reason for fail? Not a fail, but rebranding. Like, is it getting traffic? Is there a lot of links? Like, is everything that's sitting on that old asset? Do I want to 301 it? Let's make sure. I would probably go page by page or pick a top service level, main service page, 301 that to that page instead of the home page. Generally, you can run into some trouble doing that. At least I have.
Yeah. But yeah, I think also what I would just add to that, Eric, is I've been there. I had an agency, decided to do my own personal brand thing and all that. And I just done what Chris said, just over to the new website, just in case people from the past were looking for me, or whatever. It was nice, for them, if they knew me as something else, to be able to get in contact or whatever as well. But obviously, if there's link equity, traffic, all of that good stuff, then you want to try and keep that intact. So there you go. Also, Eric asks, for a business rebrand, do you create a new GMB or edit the original, Chris?
So there's two modes of thought, right? For me, is it at the same address? That's a big question, right? Is there going to be a new address? Because I would say keep them both and then edit this one, just the name, and then create that new one. But yeah, I think the best order of business, if it's going to be at the same address, you want to retain the reviews. You have your ducks in a row as far as paperwork, taxes. Hey, I pay the lease here. This is my building. There's not going to be an issue for re-verification if it's triggered. Then yeah, just change that name and keep going where you left off. That'd be the best. But if you're moving locations, this is I notice business owners all the time. They have an asset that's doing numbers, the phone's ringing, and they just shut it off. Like, whoa, I was not doing that. Keep that there until Google or your competition decides to shut it off, or until this one's flourishing. Yeah, hopefully that helps you.
Andy says, we need to get drunk in a big way. Yeah, I don't know how long it's been since I've seen you, Andy. I'm going to make the assumption it was maybe even before COVID. So it's been a long, long time. But yeah, you need to get your ass out to events, buddy. Stop hiding. You always get guys that come to events and then slip off into the
desert. Yeah.
Yeah, mate. And you need to get out somewhere. But D or Deraj, hopefully I've got that right. Can you tell me the top 3 important factors when ranking a SAB, GMB? Citations are important, but then as SABs can't have an address, so what do you do in order to rank on top?
Well, we need a few more factors, right? So one of the very first ones is if I can't have the luxury of having a physical address, I think that's a lot easier for me. Maybe other people might find that different. But if it has to be a service area business, am I as close to where the money is as possible? Meaning, am I a mile different? Am I very close to where it says Austin, Texas, or Orlando, or wherever you're trying to win? Am I very close? Like if I do a search, is my service area business where Google is actually showing? That would be step one. The next piece of that would be, again, since I can't have the main optimization, what's that big primary or location or primary service, probably location, that I could get into the name, right? Because I want to be able to catch that. So optimization of the profile. Then I would start worrying about reviews and how rapidly I can get reviews. And then to wrap it all up, I think the last piece is, well, since it's going to be hard for them to find me from the get-go, can I influence brand traffic going to the asset? And can I influence keyword traffic going to the asset? That would be it right there. So 4 things instead of 3. Stretch it, because that first one's big. Like if it's service area, they kind of suck in my opinion. But if I have to have it, well, then where's the city that we're targeting? Okay, let's get close to that.
4 you bargained for, D-Raj. So there you go. The man from the man himself. So yeah. And yes, Andy, been far too long. What's your opinion on using structured data to leverage SGE and AI search?
Like anything that's progressive or new and moving along quickly, it's changing too fast. So am I going to bank on something that's changing rapidly to earn? No way. So I would dabble, but I wouldn't spend too much time in that. And if we get an effective result, how long is that going to last? I wouldn't, if I'm going to be spending mental resource and time thinking about something or trying to do something, there's already tried and true that's working. You see? So hopefully that helps you out. I'd steer clear. Like why? If somebody is getting something to lift, how long is that going to last?
Yeah. And Holly has the question, did any of your sites get hit with the Google update, and what's your thoughts on it?
Let's say we have mid 60s of monthly recurring clients at different cost levels, right? And out of those assets, I would say that 10 got punished quite significantly. But we're starting to recover. Like I just, and it was fun too. I shared some information about this, like what we did for a chiropractor. Like we had chiropractor. I had a pool company I just did that's in Miami. They recovered beautifully. They crashed and right back up. So 10 out of 60, I don't know what that percentage is, but that's the percentage of sites that we got cracked for. But this is where, shortcuts were made. So that's fair. And we fixed it from there.
Do you think it's a recovery, or do you think Google pulled things back?
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, because it was such a low percentage, because the process is pretty much the same, but I know where the errors were, like not, so it could be a pullback. That's an interesting way to look at it. But pages need to be refreshed, and deadwood needed to be cleaned up. There needed to be link building, but the big one was recategorizing content, updating the content, and re-interlinking the content, and then getting rid of all the deadwood. That's what was able to propel us in those two instances, like the chiropractor and the pole company business. That we literally duplicated what we did for the chiro on the pole, and they're either coming back to their, grace, or they're recovering quite nicely. They're happy. I'm happy. My phone stopped ringing, so I'm thrilled.
One other question from Holly: did you have AI content on those sites?
Yes. So on one of them, on the pool guy specifically, not that. See, and this is why mistakes were made. See, in all instances, but for that one specifically, just because it's fresh, this was the last one that where we had issue and we fixed. He was using Article Forge. So, we just went in there and totally, we just redid everything except for the design. I just left this stuff in place. We redid the content, updated everything, killed everything else off, interlinked everything properly, and started building links to individual pages. And he's right back where he was, or he's working his way back up.
That was my thoughts exactly, Holly. Article Forge.
Big ouches. Yeah. He had a lot of crap. Yeah.
Come on, Chris.
Oh, I didn't do it. That was there.
Fucking.
No. That we didn't. I wouldn't have done that. But there was stuff there, and I didn't. Clients hate to pay for stuff that they can't see direct results from. So, hey, I'm going to charge you a G, but all I'm going to do is do stuff on the back end, clean this stuff up, freshen pages up, like that. It's not like, hey, I built these links and here's your cost. Hey, I uploaded this content and here's your cost. It's different, So I was focused on the stuff that, hey, what can we do right now for you? So that was my mistake and his, but I took care of it. I rectified it.
As long as you did rectify it, that's the main thing.
Yep, I did.
With the new, so this is from Andy, with the new core update on the way, do you think pure AI content will still have a place, or should it be edited by someone every time? Are you seeing sites still rank with just AI?
I mean, just AI. I mean, we don't just use AI. I mean, there has to be time and place in order to get success for us. So, I mean, I'm sure there's some instances out there people are cranking stuff out and X percentage is probably ranking, but not for us. I think has to be more time and place in order to edit, modify the content if you're going to use an assistant, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think from all the testing I've done, and AI websites, pure AI websites, they have all fallen flat in their face. I think I showed on one of these sessions before, a website went up 6 months later, boom, crashed and burned. So couldn't get it to recover or fuck all. So for me, I've always very much been use it for as a skeleton for the content, but you are going to need some tweaks and some Quillbot and whatever else is part of your overall content strategy. But I think shitting it out on a massive scale and taking it purely from whatever tool you're taking it from and shoving it on a website, it's not working for me anyway. It amazes me, some of the people that are, I'm not saying they're not doing it, but it amazes me the sheer volume and scale that some people are getting away with, and I can barely get stuff to stick. So
that's right.
Be interesting to test that. Holly says, I think we were talking the other day, Holly and Randy, and we were talking about, obviously, I had a website that obviously tanked, and then we done a redirect, and it went back to where it was, and then it tanked again. And I know you've said something about a double redirect. Holly's talking about a triple redirect.
Wow, That sounds even more intense.
Yeah. All I would say, Holly, is I don't want to say too much because it's obviously Chris's thing, but he's done a double and he's gotten away with it for 5 months. It's not came and caught him. So, yeah.
Yeah. Feel
So that's all I'm going to say on it. I don't want to say too much more, but yeah, it's worked well on that for Chris. So,
I don't know if this makes a difference. What if the initial wasn't set as a 301, but it was set as a 302, and you just left it? Just saying.
Have you tried that?
Well, after going back after a conversation, I went in just to look. Yeah, I did try it. You know, so then I started thinking, man, dude, I'm a genius. You know, mistakes turn to genius. You know, like that's my favorite thing. It's like, wait a minute. So I'm waiting for another opportunity, which I just talked to a gentleman that I may or may not help that's in a pharmaceutical industry, and he just got cracked. So we're gonna see. We're gonna try that again.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm gonna say, hey, you know, is this luck? You know, we're gonna try it out. We don't know unless we try. You know, but yes, it has been fruitful and it's been effective so far.
And Holly, I could potentially try that 111 though on that website. It kills the penalty in the second site, but yeah, it should be something interesting to test. Andy's saying, yep, there are some pure sites out there. Must be better at AI. Must be using better at AI. Some of the stuff people are doing with AI and the prompting and the tools is pretty smart. But for how long will they get away? That's the big question. But Paul Lovell is here. Good to see you, Paul. Guys, if you are watching, keep the questions coming. Put your questions in the chat. We're starting to flow faster, but you always need more questions. There's nothing better than trying to ram them all in before the hour's out. Big Hawks, any tips on making service area specific blog content to support main service area pages, local stats, facts, etc.? So how do you do it, Chris, just to mix things up a bit? Or do you even stick in like kind of stats and facts about a local area?
So a small amount. Let's just say if we had 1,000 words, 200 of those words would be referencing the areas, the county it's in, you know, that type of information. But at no time do I ever talk about, you know, places to visit or ice cream shops or anything along those lines. Like, it's just not what we do. But with that being said, specific blog content to support main service area pages, and that's the key here. So if I'm having a main website, I'm looking to build the supporting content off of the primary service. You know, I've had success and failures by building informational content to not only the top level service, but also the location pages. For instance, if I have website.com/personal injury lawyer, and then I have /personal injury lawyer Houston, personal injury lawyer Austin, personal injury, we'll build what does a personal injury lawyer do in Austin off of the Austin city page. But then I'll also do what does a personal injury lawyer do off of the personal injury level. So I've gotten lucky or found success in some niches and categories and on some sites by doing both. But where I've had a higher percentage of hit and success is by just building information off the top level page. You know, where we're building out the 7 pages just off that primary service instead of just information to support each city. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But that's where I'm at with it. We just build the 7 pages off of the primary service: who, what, when, why, where, how, and the best of page. That's what we do. That's effective.
Can't argue with effective, can we? I think it has to be a 301 and not a 302 for it to work right on a triple, Chris.
Oh, on a triple. I never did. I never even considered a triple up. But
Dude, no one really considered the fucking double either. Not many people think like that.
Oh, well then, okay. Okay. Yeah, like adding another one in there, I didn't. Well, I could see how that would work as 3 hops, right? So I just didn't want to go too far, but I didn't want to pass it direct. So I was like, let's put something in between.
Yes. And sorry, bad typos, says Andy. I'm not sure what that says. But Holly says DW didn't get hit at all, Chris. He has a butt ton of AI content daily. I was surprised he get through it. I think he prunes it after a few weeks and removes what doesn't get traffic. I think that's important, Holly. I think that is a big important part that no one really fucking tells you.
Well, on some of our bigger in particular, that category that she's speaking of on those sites, that was another big piece of it, is we did start pruning and refreshing content. See, what we found is if we launch a boatload of pages out there and we hit every state, Google rewards us in certain states and certain cities. So if we have multiple sites doing that same thing, we throw everything up, see what goes, keep the winners. And then go to the next site, keep the winners, keep the winners, keep the winners. Okay, now let's refresh and refresh and refresh and refresh and hammer with links, hammer with links. So yeah, I would venture to guess that is a big piece of it. Plus, I know that he's driving, or I at least assume by looking at some of the numbers, because he competes in some SERPs, his brand numbers are quite large. So I think he's also figured out a few other pieces to the puzzle as far as traffic is concerned. So that's helpful to be, informed.
And like you say, Holly, I think smart SEO, taking out what doesn't get traffic. It's just dead weight. If you ask me, it's dragging your shit down. So that's something I've done for a long time. But
yep.
You guys can talk more about it in AZ, you fuckers.
Well, too, but I had for me, it was like one of my bigger law firms that I was working with. And when a big suggestion was, man, we have, 112 pages that are toast. She was not thrilled about removing all of that because she was paying top guap to get those pages produced. And I was like, that's dead. Like, let's get this out of here. Yeah, that was a fight, but It was helpful. She didn't understand, I think pruning the site is definitely within order, though. For sure.
For sure. D-Raj is asking, is it okay to buy Google reviews? And has Google changed a way in how they filter or delete reviews now than earlier? They say product reviews update is about websites, but I found they did it for GMB reviews as well. What are your thoughts? I don't think it's any secret, D-Raj, that the review system on Google has changed massively. We have seen lots of people struggling to get reviews sticking. We've seen a lot of reviews being moved. We have even seen legitimate reviews being removed, potentially because it's an old account that's not been used for a while. I've seen even legitimate reviews dipping or being discounted or whatever way you want to call it. So, but Chris, how do you feel? Because obviously you're doing more of this stuff than me. How do you feel about people buying reviews? Is it still okay to do it or stay clear, or what's the...
I never recommend to a business owner that, hey, you should go out there and buy reviews, right? But realistically, yes, heck Yes. It's going to be essential. It's something that I think that you need on a very consistent basis. Yes, it hasn't became increasingly difficult. I had a guy that was auto-generated, get them for $1, sell them for $3, right? We were building hundreds of these suckers. But if I was building out 100, only 20 would stick. So, we had to go back to the drawing board. Now, what do I think it is? A lot of the pieces, well, what's the past history? What's the activity and how old is the account? I think that these are key pieces. Is there activity? Is it specific to a certain area or a region? But I think the age of the account is a big player of it. What's the activity of the account? And yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, it became so difficult, at least from my standpoint, that I've 10x the cost in order to be able to produce them. So there you go. Well, and it stick and it be a happy-go-lucky kind of a thing. It's a pain in the butt, yes.
But D-Rad, in short, it has changed from the way it used to work before. How they filter or delete them is very much changed, and they're very aggressive with it. So you're not the only one if that's what you're finding. There's people literally pulling the hair out their heads over this. So, yeah, they've smartened up. But I've got a question, Chris, and for anyone else out there. Anyone using the social media platform called Threads or Treads or whatever the hell it's called?
Not that I've heard of. No.
I'm on it. Fucking dog shit, man. I was just curious if anyone's finding any value from it. It's like a Instagram thing, but it's a new one. Threads. Yeah,
No. The only other one I like is Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah, I like Rumble.
You doing stuff on there?
I just created my account. I was on there and viewing stuff, and I'm like, wow, these guys are getting traction. So I'm about to. It's not really educational focused, but hey, another face can't hurt, kind of like Twitch. It was like, I was like, damn, this site's getting all this traffic. I was like, all right, let's start cranking. Now people want to, I don't understand it. They just want to like watch video games. Like I can't do it. It makes me insane. I don't get that. Do you do that? No freaking way. I know there's no way you would do that.
No.
Not only the time frame, but let's just is that entertainment? Like that doesn't entertain me.
No.
That makes me crazy.
But Holly's saying Threads is so annoying. No. They got a ton of traffic in the first day, then it blew. Well, I seen the same thing, Holly. So I seen it, signed up, done a couple of crappy posts, and they get a bit of traction, and then it's fucking dead now. So it's shit. But Holly's asking when you're going to jump in a social media bandwagon, Chris. A link is a link is a link, she's saying.
I mean, I agree. I am. I am on the social media bandwagon. I mean, so much so I employed a person just to mass produce for each of the platforms. Most notably, Reddit, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, just like bleh, 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 every day. But maybe you have a different angle, but I look at it as distribution,
Yeah. Push it all out there.
Push it out. That, you can't help everybody at the time that they need help. But as long as you keep doing it every day, if I could just get one person a day, it's totally worth it. That's how I look at it.
Eric McDonald, for web development agencies, what's your take on adding a backlink from a client's footer to your website, for example, designed by? That is very old school, something I used to do a lot of. Does footer links work as powerful as they once did, Chris?
Well, so I frown upon this type of activity. However, if I'm doing the SEO for a site and their web designer has already added it, I just swap it to me. So, but it's already a green light, right? Like, am I going to go out of my way to do that? No. Is there value for a site-wide footer link? It depends on the client. Like, what's their budget on a monthly recurring basis? How many referrings are they building each month? What quality of referring are they building each month? Like, am I going to do that for, HVAC in some town in Virginia? Nah. But if I get yes, it's valuable. Definitely.
2 seconds, my door's going. 2 seconds.
Wow. I guess it's just us then. With that being said, as far as those social media links, I don't think I was early because I actually saw others doing it. But to me, I was making those, I was calling them social citations, because I quickly realized that you can get let's say reddit.com/Chris Palmer marketing at 30 West Broad Street. Like, you can make a citation, a social citation. You can do it on Twitter. So I like it for that standpoint. You can do it on SoundCloud, kind of like a YouTube citation, which is different, but you get the drift.
Well, excuse me, the fucking wife's buying shit. It wasn't even for me.
Hey.
Holly's kids watch Twitch, and they're in their late 20s now. Big for gamers. I believe it or not, I stream this to Twitch. I think I've got 1 or 2 followers on Twitch. It's never done shit.
Yeah, never. That's why it always blew my mind. It's like, so wait a second, let me get this straight. You'll play video game, right? Nothing against that. Hey, if that's what your thing is, but then you're like putting out hey, this at the end of the day can help you. I've made several people millionaires by now.
Yeah.
Right. Potentially this information can help you become way more successful than you are currently today. I can't get 4 views. It's crazy. Yeah, man. That was my struggle with Twitch right there. It's like, geez, like, dang it. I figured these were prime candidates.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you guys clearly have a lot of time, but hey, it's all good. Twitch isn't for me either. I love LinkedIn though.
Twitch isn't for learning, it's for gamers and time wasters. In the words of Holly Starks, not me. Before anyone starts.
Well, you're concerned about the 2 that are watching. You're like, hey, whoa, I got 2 guys over here. Like, they're
but Big Hawks, a client has recently asked me if it's worth paying a wiki experts to create a wiki page for their business. What do you guys think? So what is Big
Horks, if you can successfully create a Wikipedia page, you should definitely get in touch with me on Skype. But aside from that, if they have the credible sources in order to be able to propel that, which is what it takes, or if like you're like a top 10 level mod and like you can just get anything right through, either way you can do it. That would be super cool. Yeah, it's valuable. Like it's not the link equity, but it's building the entity. So yeah, if you could do it for sure.
It is very difficult though, Big Hawks, is what I would say. Depends on what the business is, but like Chris says, if you've got the exposure and it is someone that's genuinely deserving of a wiki page, then fair play. But if it's a HVAC guy in West Virginia, you're probably wasting your fucking time. Just bear that part in mind. But yeah, there's people that can do it out there. But
and too, like their criteria is bananas. Like they have a page that's credible sources, and like don't think your Business Insider, or anything that's generalized market out there that you can go and get, no, that's off the list. Like
Yeah.
that's toast. Like you got to have some bangers. Like were you featured on the front page of Forbes? Maybe that's accepted. Actually, Forbes is off the list. In fact, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like you got to be the Dundada in order to get on there. In all honesty, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Puke out your content. It works. It certainly does. Would a site-wide footer link on each page dilute its power, or should I just have it from the client's homepage footer?
Well, so ideally for the client, it's not in their best interest to link to a non-relevant website, especially from their homepage, right? Like you're an SEO or digital marketing agency and they're selling X or doing X. It's no good for them, technically speaking, right? But if they want to give you the credit and like maybe that's part of the arrangement, no, like they're like, no, I want this for you. If you have that type of relationship, I don't want site-wide. And no, I don't want it in the footer. I would ideally like it to be in the body content. It could be towards the bottom, an exact match for a primary term. That would be super awesome, of them. I would love that, especially if they have like a DR 74 with like 2,600 referring domains. Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice of them.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
For sure. Yeah.
There you go. So that's my thoughts on that. Does it dilute them? Yes, of course. And it's a footer link and it's going to an irrelevant source. Like, yeah, that's not the best for them. But if they're clear with it, then okay, homepage is great. But if we can get it on the homepage, let's put it into the body section if we can. All right. Ideally.
Hopefully that helps you, Eric. Training Essentials is here. Good to see you. I migrated my website 2 years ago. However, when I perform a search using site old domain, I still see the website being indexed. Is that supposed to happen?
For some time, you're going to see that. Yeah, like sometimes it lingers around. But have you cleaned that up? Have you gone through the process which in Search Console? Like, did you tell Google that this is gone? Did you inform them about your redirect? Did you go to the other search engines and also do this? Did you go to Bing Webmasters and say, hey, we're over here now? There is a form or a process for this, by the way. But let's just say you just do it and you're just going to let it like natural, it's going to take some time, my friend. And yes, it's normal.
But you have to resolve it.
Exactly.
2 years is a long time.
I missed the 2-year part.
Yeah.
See, wow. Bananas.
It could be jammed in the index and you need to follow the steps that Chris said in order to try and clear that up or tell Google they're gone. So, yeah, 2 years for me is waited long enough. You should pick things up. But I've seen that happen lots of times where things are just jammed in Google's index. So yeah.
Change of address tool. There you go. Try that out.
Andy's saying trying to get a wiki page past the admin teams is a nightmare for the average Joe. 4 or 5 done. But back to Training Essentials, yes, I did. So they've done what you've suggested, Chris.
And you still have pages just sitting there? Are you on the same server? So we can speculate. What I would also maybe suggest is walk over to Fiverr and look for a pro service that's doing technical only. Like that's their thing. They just do this all day, every day. And they got like 1 trillion reviews and give them your issue. They'll clean it up because there's probably some time involved. That could be a recommendation.
Yes, it's on the same server. That's a clue right there. There you go, Chris. Always a golden nugget floating around somewhere. Training Essentials did manage to list their website in the sources section. As long as you're somewhere about there, I'm sure it'll be good.
Well, and that's well. Wait a minute, gentlemen and ladies. This is two different things, though. There's a massive difference between being cited as a reference or a source or on a talk page, or even on, they have a name. Like if there's two separate names for the same Chris Palmer, and I get on this page, I forget what they call it, but that's different than having Chris Palmer, born in, Mississippi in 1947. And, he's son of, Emperor, like it's a whole page just about you. Big difference, huge difference, actually. Just saying. Because then, in the sidebar of Wikipedia, how there's like 20 sites that are attached. See, all the little reference points and all that other little stuff, you have to manually add each of those and pray that you get accepted to each of those little 20 things, like Wikipedia Commons and all this extra stuff. But when you have a page and you upload the images and you do, like you have your own, it's automatically distributed to them. Big difference, in my opinion.
Yeah. Honey, does Google hit hard small local business websites as a big one with multiple location and single website? Considering white hat building in both cases in the recent scenario of a Google update. So it's not about your link building necessarily, and why that might be a problem. It is the content that's on those multiple location pages is where potentially the penalty is going to come from.
For sure. Yep.
A lot
Yep.
of people are complaining that those local landing pages have been hit very hard. So how were they created? Like Chris said earlier, he had to go back in, change things out, rip the whole thing apart, just do things better, get links going to them, internal linking, all that kind of good stuff. Was all of that done on these pages? Only you know the answer to that,
Exactly.
Honey. But yeah, you would have to start there. But fingers crossed you can sort it. But anything to add for Honey there, Chris?
No, I would, again, I would definitely go in and figure out, well, what's being rewarded, what's just dead wood. Let's get rid of that. 310, update the sitemap, submit the outdated, and add it to robots.txt at least for 30 days. Get rid of the dead stuff. Now let's start figuring out, well, is the structuring right, or is the site so old that I can't change structure? Okay, well then let's get the internal linking right. The next piece, though, actually before that is, well, let's freshen it up. And initially, like when this all started happening, just changing the headers out was working. But you really need to refreshen the page. Like you need to change sub KB on that page to get it to be recrawled and reindexed and reconsidered. Like there has to be a change. So refreshing that page, change the headers, look at the SERP, what's the intent, and definitely the internal linking. But clean up that dead wood. So all of that is where we found success. And then getting links is super helpful, but that's more for keeping the page index once I get it seen. So we know that these are high commercial intent pages. We know we have to build links, just starting that process because it helps keep things staying is the main issue there. I hope that helps you.
Cool. Yes, I did. Glenart, good to see you, mate. What is the best way to see trending monthly search volumes on an important keyword? Google Trends, Google Search Console, or Google AdWords? I think a large competitor is stealing the share.
Well, so if you're utilizing SEMrush and you are thinking it's a competitor, throw them in. What positions are changing? What keywords are changing? Which organic traffic is changing? They make it so easy, especially if you have like the guru. Like you can you can see the trends and you can see competitor trends very easily. Super worth that $200. Like even I spent it. So, I think it's, yeah. So that's where I would take a look as far, because they're pulling it all and putting it in a nice, like, just like serving it on a delicious platter for us in order to analyze and understand. It's not perfect, but it's, I like it for that type of thing.
Good. Glad to hear you like it, Chris.
Yep. Yeah.
Gareth Boyd is here. Good to see you, mate. And Holly says there is no such thing as white hat link building. The minute you build a link, you are breaking
Dude,
guidelines.
I just had a lady, a cosmetic surgeon, and she was like, are you white hat, black hat? I saw a few of your videos out there, and I was, we're white hat. We don't do anything illegal. And in order to explain this, I pulled up her backlink profile, and there was like all these citations and all these directories, and like, oh, my husband was on the front page of this, and like just a slew of links. And I was like, well, clearly you're black hat then, because look at all of this. If you follow Google's guidelines to a T, none of this should be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what Holly said. Exactly.
What are you guys using press releases for? Obviously not expecting journal pickups.
What do you mean? No. Wait, that's what I wanted. I mean, I'm utilizing them in order to increase, we're going to call it page rank of the specific page. So UR of the page, right? Or DR of the page, whatever you want to look, or PA of the page. I'm looking to increase the actual equity of that specific page. So we like them for the initial links, to each of the top levels. So that's cheap. It's relatively inexpensive, relatively safe, relatively high authority links that we can get at a fair price. And that's what we're after. We're looking to get links to specific pages for a low cost. It's nice to get 700 links like that to a page. And that's helpful. I like it a lot.
And as Gareth wants, he will get. If you do want those, check the link below. 38 digital market. Just got to throw it in where I can. But yeah. But guys, we do have 6.5 more minutes. So anything else you want to pile in with, please do. In the next few minutes before we do wrap up. But going back to that, I think it was Ted Kubaitis who said he just loves it to increase the referring domain count and all that kind of stuff. He thinks that's massively helpful, but he does do it to obviously boost up the pages and the UR and everything else of those. So yeah, I think it's commonly used, and I think guys like Big Ted, who uses a lot of data, he knows his stuff. So I tend to follow a lot of what he says, and I think it makes perfect sense to do it. I don't think I've ever had a journal pickup though, and I know you were joking, Gareth, but yeah, I don't think I've ever had a journal pickup from any of those. But
what do you think about this Haro stuff? Tasty? Not tasty?
It's fucking been abused to death, man. It's just getting harder and harder. It used to be really good, dude. You used to be able to get it cheap. There were really good links and all that kind of stuff. I think diversifying the links you get, the type of links you get, obviously building up your brand and everything. I think getting on Haro was great for that, but I've now moved over to a different platform. I just think Harrow's been burned to death by greedy SEOs. You know, I think every journalist who puts a request on there is going to get fucking bombarded by all the wolves at their door. I would hate to see what's going on there, but I just feel that obviously they've put limitations in place in terms of how many pitches you can go for and stuff to try and
making money now. I would venture to guess.
but,
Buck a piece.
Yeah. But yeah.
Just that's bananas. That's bananas. That was a good idea on their behalf.
Yes.
It is increasing, but I mean, you do get some bangers when they land. I'll give you that. Yes. The cost, though, like, why is this even? Why do you think that platforms or people or business owners or link building services are charging what they charge? Because it's not time and or upfront cost, but like, why do I see like $800 a piece? Like, why did they do that? Because they can, or am I missing something here? What do you think?
What was the question?
Why do some link building services charge $800 a piece for Harrow links?
Some greedy bastard wants to make a lot of money.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's fair. No, that's fair.
Okay. I mean, we know the cost price of this roughly, but it's not worth 800 quid. I can tell you that for a fact. That's just sheer greed. It's the same as, you know, if you've got a £10,000 car sitting outside and you're trying to sell it for 40. I mean, it's just fucking common sense that you're not going to fucking buy it. Like, the problem is, in this game, no one knows what anything's worth on the outside of the game. So, yeah, it's just not good. It's not good, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all right.
And Gareth, yes, pretty much. That's what I'm using it for. But Glenart, recently I put a link in our Google My Business reviews in the main footer on our website. Do you think that can increase our local SEO rankings?
Put a link to our Google Business reviews
on the footer of their website.
So site-wide, I think if you have unique reviews that are relevant to the page or the service, because Google, if you go to your reviews and you have more than just a couple, you know, there's a search functionality in there that you can search based on keyword. More notably, there has to be more than one person to say a specific word, and then it'll pop up in search. Like, say you have a business that has like 160 reviews or so. So if you have something that's relevant to the actual search intent of the pages, then yes, I definitely like adding those reviews to the relevant page and linking back. Yes. But as far as like, hey, I have these 5 reviews and I'm going to put them in the footer site-wide, no. In the past, when we had like, say, lead gen assets, we were putting PDFs in the bottom, but that's a whole different ballgame than when we're talking about a business that wants to sustain, you know. So relevant reviews based on the service and the page that we're on. That's what we do. Yes. But not the same 5. Like, we don't know. And they have to be verbatim. This way I can utilize them in schema. It has to be verbatim on the page, and I talk about it over here.
Cool.
Hopefully that helps.
Last question. Any SEO career tips? Just general, agency, in-house, enterprise, freelance, etc. Chris, you've went from guy in his basement to building up an agency and scaling out and getting staff and doing all the services and client work and all that shit.
Definitely.
What would your advice be to Big Hawks?
Yeah, definitely went from 6 to dozens of clients, and went from, you know, me and my boy Eric Moran to a team of 11. That is facts. I think I would take some time. I don't know, as time is progressing, I'm realizing that understanding different personality types and how to convey to those personality types or be able to talk to people on your team, congratulate them. Like I would take some, I don't want to know if it's like not consulting, but like some therapy for communicating to your team, and team management and like keeping your team motivated. Like managing a team is far different than actually deploying the work. It's a whole new skill set on top of anything else. So I would have took some time to understand that instead of learning that the hard way up front. So that's one piece. Also narrowing down and find your lane. Like I understand, like I call it taking all bets. Like at first I taking all bets. Who's got cash? I need little Chris is crying, right? Like we need dough now, right? So it's like, okay, I'm taking all bets. But as time progresses, pick your lane and what are you good at? Like, and I'm not talking about a particular task like technical or off page. Like, no. It's all in one in order to be able to give the business success, right? But what I mean is like, well, who exactly are you helping? Are you helping plumbers? Are you helping service area businesses? Who do you help? And that's your lane. You get better results. It's easier for the team. Like you're not always changing the template. So that's a big piece right there. I mean, there's many lessons, many lessons. Here's another big one I learned. It's so much better, whatever the price tag is, if it increases time to result, spend the money. I would much rather be able to turn back the clock than all the money that I saved. Like I'd rather hurry the clock up and save the time than keep the money. The time it actually ends up becoming more valuable as the time progresses. As dollars start coming, you start to understand the value of the actual time. So yeah, that's a big one right there. Spend the coin. Who knows it and who can get me the result right now? Who can help me? Whether that's a task or an issue or technical thing. Like if I have to go pay somebody for them to give me 15 minutes to show me how to do this so I can show my team, that's what I'm going to do. If they want a G, okay, here's your G. Show me. So that's a big one. Anything to hurry up the clock. Big right there. Yeah, I have lots of them. But those are three good ones for you.
And Gareth, feel free to give me a shout. But also, Big Hawks, what is good for Palmer in terms of scaling a team may not be good for you. Everyone's different. Being freelance, doing enterprise in-house, running your own agency. It really depends on you as a person. And yeah, you just got to probably fiddle around and try a few different things and then pick your lane and go for it. But there's a lot of money out there. Going from freelance to building up an agency is probably the most common route. But some people want to sit in a comfortable salary and maybe go corporate. So whatever works for you, mate, and your circumstances would be my advice. Don't be forced into doing the normal thing of doing client work if it's not your thing. There are other ways to make money online. Keep an open mind. But we are out of time, guys. Thank you for all the questions, and we will be back at the same time next week because I don't think our clocks go back until the end of the month. So, yeah.
What, in the UK or in USA?
Yeah. Your clocks changed recently, but ours don't change until the end of the month. So,
Perfect.
yeah. But same time next week, everyone. And yeah, we'll catch you then.
See you then. Have a good day.
Bye bye.